you know it's all about you. I ain't saying no names, but you know what I'm saying. I can tell it by the way that you move. You know it's all about you.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now. WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Rise and shine. Let's get ready. Today, Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Rise and shine and get ready to take on the day. Wednesday, the 22nd of July, 2026. Good morning, Roleza.
Good morning. As you say, rise and shine. You know, today was rough getting out of bed. This morning was really, I had to roll out of bed. If people just rise out of bed, I had to roll out of bed.
You need a husband to chuck at the side and say, hey, time to wake up.
No, if I have a husband on the side, he would say, girl, you don't need to be going anywhere this early in the morning. Stay right there.
You believe?
That's what my husband would be saying, all right? My husband didn't want to leave so early in the morning. Come on, Maka, I'll get down with you.
I don't want to see you leave or go and hustle, do your hustle.
And then come back.
And come back, yeah.
All right,
well. All the time after you finish working.
Well, I mean, it depends on where he walk into, because if he's self-employed as well, he just might, I just might meet him home, depending. So,
Yeah.
Roleza, good morning. I hear wedding bells in the place. Good morning. What did I just open up to? What did I rise to this morning? Congratulations. Listen to me.
Congratulations.
If that invitation don't come for me to make that cake for you.
Well, Maka clearly prophesying something, because I ain't over that.
Don't worry, we go fly up.
And Maka want to be DJ. Maka wants to be the DJ. That's what happened too.
Listen to me. Your cake in order, your DJ in order.
Everything set. All right.
I rest my case.
All right, so good morning to everybody, and hope that everybody had a good night's rest. For those of you who are on the go, keep going. All right, keep going. And just enjoy the rest of today. It is Wednesday, the middle of the week. Mr. Coach just saying, all I'm saying is he want to be. Let me see what the rest of what he said. I want to be the best man. Listen, I have to find the groom first. If you understand, I have to find the groom first. All of this planning y'all doing. Nicole, how you doing?
I am wonderful. Good morning to DJ Maka. Good morning.
Nicole, how is Trinidad and Tobago?
Boy, I'm really not sure, to be honest with you. There's so much going on. There is so much going on. And I have been in and out more than anything else. So I have to process everything. I have to. But we're still standing. Good morning to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and everyone listening far and wide. Good morning.
All right. I
see a lot of confusion over this registration fee thing.
Business?
Yeah. I would like to know what's going on with the registration fee thing.
I need to probably ask a couple of principals, what was the impact?
I see a statement from a principal of the Barley Government School, the secondary school, Michael Scott, strongly believe that a forensic study should have been conducted in secondary school across St. Vincent and Grenadines before the decision was made to scrap all registration fees. Scott contended that the study was necessary to look at individual school records and understand the different enrollment package being offered nationwide.
I know that the Minister of Education was on NBC Radio yesterday, and I read this statement or already article on one of those news outlets. I'm not sure which one now. And what he was saying is that, okay, so while it is that the registration is going to make things a little bit cheaper for parents, it's not to say that the schools are losing a significant amount of money, right? In some cases, what he's saying is that it works out to like $85. Schools would still, or children would still have to pay for what is required of the school. Like, let's say the games clothes, the books.
So the parents have to.
They will still have to
pay for those stuff.
I think it's still have to pay for them. But what he said is that where it is possible for them to, let's say, buy books that are not provided by the school in terms of the exercise books, to let them use those, because sometimes children would get those things in barrels and so forth, to let them use those instead of
So what is it that the government is canceling?
They're canceling. Okay, the impression that I got from the article is what they are canceling is things that are not, can't be touched. If I remember what he said from the article correctly, can't be touched, right? So things like the processing fees that parents don't understand. There's a registration fee. There's another fee that he mentioned that are not tangible in a way that parents can say, well, they could understand the reason for paying this money.
I was listening to a clip from the president of the teachers union, and what she was saying that the government, the ministry did not have any talk with the schools
beforehand. Okay.
So
Yeah, I'd have to maybe ask a couple of principals, what is the impact of this? Because as most of us are aware that whenever schools do some of this registration, it helps them to be able to generate some money for the school, right? So maybe something, let's say like the processing fee is one way in which they're going to help to generate some funds, because it's not something that the child is actually going to get back in their hand, so but it's to see what the impact is. I mean, parents are going to be happy to be able to try to save, even if it's $100, right? To save some money. But I suppose, again, it comes back to how does this work out to the benefit of the schools in the long run, given that the Ministry of Education doesn't provide everything that the schools always need. So, yeah.
As you say, we have to hear from some principals.
Yeah.
All
right. So just want to quickly touch on this topic. This came up during the carnival season, but, during carnival, many times we're focused on other things other than other things are happening during that season, right? So I'm not sure how many persons saw a video that went viral of a gentleman who seemed to have been having a nervous breakdown. I'm not sure if he was having a nervous breakdown or if this is how he always was, right? And from the video, we noticed that police were called to the scene, but there really wasn't that much that they could do, right? And there was an article that came out on One News SVG on the 25th of June, and it stated that the police and judiciary to receive mental health training, right? Many times we've had the conversation about officers when they go to scenes to deal with persons who are having mental health episodes, or they're having mental health episodes, that oftentimes police don't know how to react or to deal with those situations, right? And oftentimes, well, not oftentimes, in some instances, we've noted that persons have been shot, right? Shot, and some have been killed. So the Minister of Health stated that the judiciary and police are going to receive mental health training. But we're also asking the question, is there, in the case of when police officers turn up to the scene of an incident of somebody who's possibly having an episode, is there more that can happen or can be provided to police officers during those situations? And we're going to show a clip of such an incident that happened during June of officers at a particular scene of a gentleman who was having an episode.
I don't think it's dull. I want to cut through all of you. You hear me, my jaw? And it's hurting me. Pain for you today. You will be painful today. You cannot help him. He is on the threat now. All you make him on the threat now. No. All you have to leave. All you have no authority. I have all you on tape. I did not start this. All you will pay the price. Pay the price. Pay the price. I will cook you halfway like rice. I will fully cook you so that you could save yourself. You could still plant when I don't cook you half. Half cook you so that you could produce fruit. Stop interfering. Eyes up. Dangerous brute. Dangerous brute. Dangerous brute. Better get out of here. I pull axe in my house. Oh, look, watch. Mama bust up. Whoa, start. 1, 1, 3, start. Yeah. Runway, police. Babylon fall. Babylon fall. Your Babylon fall. I want to hear what you telling my daddy there. Put away your guns. Put away your guns. I am a machine of war. Oh, yeah. It's military grade. Hardware. Oh, you're civilian. I am a warrior. That is why you cannot deal with me.
All right.
You can imagine I am a police officer. I have to go and deal with something like this.
And that's the thing, because I'm looking at that, right? And the officers, so there are several officers there, and there's this one gentleman, right? But he had an axe in his hand. And what it is that concerned me when I look at it is, what if this man was supposed to rush the officers, to charge the officers, right? All right, yes, we know that the officers have gun, right? They would have a gun present. I think one already had it out. But you realize that they turned their back and they were walking off because there was nothing that they could do, right?
What do you mean there's nothing that they could do?
No, well, they started walking off. The officers started walking off.
It's not one officer, Roleza. It's more than one.
It's more than one. But would you want to be a police officer and to charge that man with an axe in his hand? Your first instinct as an officer should not be to shoot him, right? It should not be your first line of defense. If you have to, I suppose, yes, they would have to. But I was just concerned for the safety of the officers. And the reason why it is, I kind of brought this up as well, is that should they be provided with more protective gear, right? Because they're just turning up there in a t-shirt. Maybe they might have turned up in a vest or whatever, but should they be provided with more protective gear? Should they, let's say, be wearing helmets? Should they be wearing, I don't know, maybe some sort of armor or the other, or some sort of shield, so that when they have to go to deal with cases of these persons with mental illness, they are protected, as in fully clothed and protected in that sense, you know? So it really and truly was a concern for me, because oftentimes we hear of, yes, police officers are shooting the individuals. It should not be the first line of defense for the officers. But to me, when I looked at this, it's as if the officers were really and truly just helpless.
Yeah, I
helpless in dealing with this situation.
I agree. Fully agree.
Nicole, I wasn't sure if you were coming in, Nicole.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, it's so volatile, and there is definitely need for being equipped. But the thing about physical armament, when you put on all of these things like shields, and when you present with all of this for someone who's having a mental health episode, it also can be exceedingly triggering. So there's no right way. There's absolutely no right way. Being exceedingly armed sometimes could come at a cost. And, you know, as you said, yes, they might have to act first, but the truth is you also don't want to have to act first where there's any mortality or anything like that. So it's kind of scary to look at, and it must be a difficult thing. But again, besides being physically equipped, how equipped are the officers for addressing mental health situations? You know, because this seemed to be a major episode that was happening.
But Nicole, how the police in Trinidad deal with something like this?
Well, the truth is, there is no real, as far as I am aware, instance where there is always the right way or the best way. We have seen officers go in with situations where there has been an outcome that was not favorable for the victim, if you want to use that word. But generally, most times if something like this is happening, an ambulance is called. And an ambulance, because of course now,
everyone knows. So
an ambulance will address, particularly if it's known that this person has a mental health issue. I know of situations where the ambulance is called as well, or called in as the main measure, because what has to happen next is this person has to be managed and taken into an institution or for care. So, there's no right way in all instances. In Trinidad and Tobago, sometimes there have been unfavorable outcomes. depending on the sense of threat that happens, but most times it is dealt with as a medical emergency.
And what is that also concerned me too when I looked at this video, when I looked at the full video, is that so officers are called to the scene to help with this situation with this gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
The officers can't do anything about it. Well, it looks as if from the video, it looks as if they left or they were looking to leave. What happens to the family members or the neighbors who may have been the reason why the officers were called in the first place?
Even the person that this guy lived with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's just, as we were talking about the situation yesterday with the gentleman from Barley who, was shot in the face and about his body and all of that. And, these persons walking and living amongst us. And then you call officers to the scene. But it's not just for the officers to try to protect the family members and the neighbors around, but also the protection of officers themselves when they go to the scene to deal with these type of situations. So it has to be a overall type of way to try to deal with these situations when it comes to persons who are suffering from mental health issues.
I don't know how persons living with these kind of people, but me, I don't want to live with this kind of people.
But the thing of it, Maka, is that you never know if you can possibly become one of those persons.
Exactly.
Well,
and it's
we just never know what could trip any of us. We just never know.
I wonder if I could trip.
Well, hopefully not. I mean, and I suppose that is the thing of knowing yourself and knowing when it is you need to de-stress, right? If you find that there is something going on in your life that is emotionally taking you over, you have to find a way around the situation to de-stress so that you don't get to that breaking point. But we just never know. We just never know. We kind of have to show compassion towards them because do they choose to be this way?
I mean, it's real difficult to live with somebody like this.
I would agree.
Very difficult.
I would agree.
But Maka, some of them also, when they are self-aware, and in a lot of instances where they're self-aware and where they're given the dignity that they deserve in a household over time, sometimes they say to that loved one, I'm not feeling well, or I'm feeling like I'm getting another episode. A lot of times, I've known situations where someone who is in that state of distress will advise whoever's around, I am not in a good place. I'm not feeling okay right now. Can you take me to the center or can you call? And you know what is nice? It's nice when we are able to have that conversation without judgment with that person. And particularly if it's a child, because remember something, mental health sometimes is not only reserved for adults or people who we think, are deranged or crazy. It could be anybody in any household. And what happens most times where there is that transparency and that genuine care is that sometimes a child might be able to express themselves or an adult and say, today is not a good day for me. And we have to understand when people say they're not okay, that we can't just brush it off and shrug it off.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have to stick a pin there. We are over time and we are going to head directly into this morning's traffic talk.
Nothing else sounds as good as WEFM.